One of the #1 revision notes I get from clients is, hey Matty, the mix sounds great, but can you please add some more reverb on my voice? I think this is for two different reasons. #1, it's a psychological thing. We're all uncomfortable with the sound of our voice. We are afraid of what people are going to think when they first hear our song. So one of the things you can do is disguise it. Make it not sound just like you, and it might psychologically make you feel better. So adding a bunch of reverb is one of the first things, and one of the only things people know that can do that. The second one is they want it to sound different, which is still kind of part of the psychological side, but this, after a song is recorded, you want it to sound different and bigger and fuller. So one of the first things you can throw on that's automatic fullness and makes it sound bigger is reverb. It just spreads it all out, right? Unfortunately, what many people don't realize is by adding reverb, you can make your mix sound muddy and lose a lot of clarity. So today I'm going to show you 3 different ways we can add reverb and bring some bigness to your vocal without killing the clarity of the mix or making things muddy. Before we do get started, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's go. All right, guys, so we're working on my buddy Meekins song. You've heard this a million times. If you watch any of my videos, it's the Big Joints song. If you want to check out the mix on Spotify and all those streaming platforms. So let me just play it without the reverb. And then I'm going to turn on this Valhalla verb. And this is just basic settings, Valhalla, 3-second decay. And just take a notice to how everything just kind of changes and we lose some clarity and the drums aren't quite hitting so hard. I'm going to turn it on and then turn it off and just see if you guys can hear the difference.
Stressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you dressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you dressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot.
So you notice when we do that, we lose some clarity in the mix. The drums aren't quite hitting us like right in your face anymore. The vocal's kind of dreamy. The keyboard sounds like it got more reverb. And we've lost clarity and we've gotten a little bit cloudy in the mix. So one of the #1 things you can do to fix that, and a lot of people don't even bother, is EQ. And you can just do a basic shelf, or you can go in and fine tune things, which I'll show you like how I fine tune things sometimes a little later. But just by taking a shelf up around 13K or whatever, you can obviously play with it, and just bring it down a bit. You lose a lot of this kind of muddy reverb that you don't need, because a lot of times we just want the clarity and air of the reverb, and that will give us the sound. So check this out. We're going to leave this here. I'm going to play it again and just turn on this EQ, and you'll be amazed at what it does.
Stressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you dressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you...
So pretty amazing difference just with that quick EQ move. How much more clarity. The drums came back and we still had that reverb and that feel that we're looking for with reverb, but we didn't lose all the clarity of the mix. So that's the first example, and one of the #1 things you can do to get some more clarity and still have a reverb. The next one is pre-delay. So this one we had no pre-delay, okay? And what that means essentially is that it's just vocal reverb all at the same time. Pre-delay is exactly what it sounds like if it's a little delay before the reverb comes in. So one thing I like to do is time the pre-delay. So here we have it at 46 milliseconds. Now, some of the newer reverbs have pre-delay, you can sync it with the beat of the song, and it will actually have the different note values. This reverb doesn't. And if your reverb doesn't, you can use this plugin called Music Math, which is like $5, and you can actually do this calculation with a calculator probably, but I'd like to use this. And it will give you all your different reverb delay times for different note values, dependent on the tempo, obviously. So here we're using a 30-second note pre-delay, okay? And so what this is going to do, it's going to wait a 30-second note before the reverb kicks in. This gives us a little more space with the reverb and helps us to have a little more clarity. So, because, you know, the more reverb, the more things kind of feel pushed back. So this gives us a little space for the reverb, for the vocal to come through before the reverb pops. And then we're also going to do the filter that we did here. So check this out.
Stressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you...
So that sounds pretty good. Now I'm going to just go, and I can't be super quick with this, but I'm going to go back and forth so you guys can hear the difference. So this is with pre-delay, and this is without, okay?
Stressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you dressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more.
So hopefully you can hear the difference. We've gained a bit more clarity by just adding that pre-delay and then the filter. So in 2 steps that took us a very short amount of time, we've made this reverb sound great and given our mix a lot of clarity that it didn't have by just throwing on a reverb. Okay, so the last example is what I like to do a lot, and is actually use shorter decay times, okay? So we got the pre-delay, this is the 64th note one, short decay time and the filter, and this one is, I like using a couple of short delays and then maybe one longer one that you don't have to turn up so much because it gives you the bigness you're looking for, but it doesn't cloud up the mix at all. So check this out now with a short delay, decay time, and the filter as well.
Stressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you dressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live.
So for me, that gives me kind of the best of both worlds. It's not a big dreamy reverb, but it works well for this. And then another thing you can do to take it a step further is switch your fab filter, or if you have a mid-side EQ, whatever you're using, to do a click around 16 to 3K where a lot of the vocal is, and just dip your middle a bit, right? And then on the other side of that, switch this to stereo side, and boost it, and then that will give you a bigger sounding, the width that you're looking for sometimes, but take away some of the middle so the vocal sounds more up front in their face.
Stressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you dressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more.
And there you have it. And there's one final thing, just an extra freebie or whatever you want to call it. Delays. And this could be a whole nother video, but using short delays can work just the same as using short reverbs. And this is what I tend to do, is maybe a slap delay, a short reverb, and then maybe a hall. I'll use 3 to 4 different delays or reverb combinations to get a vocal sound. And that tends to work for me. So just check this out. We might have to turn this send down a little bit so it doesn't sound overbearing, but check this out.
Stressed out, get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once, but you dressed out.
So hopefully going over those examples was helpful for you guys. Reverb's an amazing thing, but you gotta be careful the way you use it, because you can really kind of kill a mix by doing it too much. Let me know if you have any reverb tips or tricks in the comments below. I'd love to learn. I'd love to learn what you guys are using. If you need your song mix and master, hit me up at mixandmastermysong.com. You can also check out my presets and courses there too. Talk to you soon.